This episode is a really special one for me. I spent several seasons living in Homer, Alaska, and it's a place I love deeply. The light, the bay, and the fishing culture, and the way that people there just know how to do things. So, getting to sit down with Claire and Emma of Salmon Sisters, two women who are as Homer as it gets, felt like a real gift. Claire and Emma grew up on a remote homestead at the tip of the Alaskan Peninsula, off the grid, tending chickens and greenhouses and mending nets alongside their dad, crossing a stretch of ocean just to check the mail and see some other kids. They fished commercially through middle and high school and built Salmon Sisters from the ground up over the last decade. And they've grown it into a women-owned seafood brand, processing facility, retail shops, and cookbook series, all while raising young children and continuing to show up as genuine advocates for wild Alaskan fisheries. In this conversation, we get into all of it. We talk about what it takes to get wild Alaskan salmon onto your plate, the science, management, escapement counts, and fishermen who know every shift of current and weather and act as citizen scientists on the water. We debunk some of the biggest misconceptions people have about the industry, including the idea that commercial fishing and sustainability are at odds, because in Alaska, they're deeply structurally intertwined. We talk about what it means to be women in this industry. Claire and Emma have helped carve out space for women on the water, in gear stores and in the culture, and why that work matters for the next generation of girls and kids. And as a mom, what I really enjoyed was talking about raising children who know where their food comes from, who are already learning to cut fish at 3.5 years old, and what it looks like to build a small family business as a living example of what kind of life is possible. And of course, we talk about advocacy, protecting the environment that allows for all of this, the watersheds, salmon habitat, and ecosystems that make it all work. Because as we know, true sustainability means thinking about the generations ahead of us. I really love this one and hope you do too. Let's get into it. How old is the babe?
Almost a year. Yeah,
My son
his
just turned
ways.
a year in February.
Oh,
Congratulations!
Grab in the face,
yeah.
grabbing your hair.
That is a real fixture of interest. Yeah, Wade will
I know,
be
this is
a
the
month.
only time I can wear
Yeah,
my hair down.
exactly. I know. I know the, scratch marks on my face. I have a little one too. I'm like, "Oh, man. It's just from my child."
When he was nursing, he would pinch my arms,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I had bruises, and I was like, "I swear this
I
is from
know.
my baby."
I know. It's brutal.
You have, the tiny nail scratch marks right now
Mhm.
on the backs of the
Yeah.
arms. You're like, it's got a
I know.
2.5-year-old and then how old's Ronan now? 5 months?
Yeah, I have 2 boys.
Yeah.
One's 2.5 and one's almost 6 months, and
Yeah.
Oh
they're
my
just
gosh.
amazing. Also, just, so rough and tumble. I'm, being piled on like a pile of puppies and just, so much hugging, so many. It's very
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for making a time for this with your business and
Oh,
the
yeah.
children, because I know it's not easy.
For sure. No,
Thank you for
it's
your
great.
patience with us, and it's a treat to get Emma and I together for a minute and be able to talk about
Yeah.
our business for a minute because admittedly, it's, a little far and few between right now.
I'm sure there's just a lot happening, and you're both in Homer.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're both in Homer.
Nice. Fun fact, I back in the day worked at Center for Alaskan Coastal Studies
Cool.
Oh, cool.
and St. Augustine's. Is that where you are right now?
Yes.
Across
Well,
the
Not
bay?
no,
right now, but yeah,
but
that's so cool.
okay, did you work for their kayaking
Yeah.
business?
Mhm.
Amazing. My husband Jacob and I bought their little place.
Yeah, that's what they
Yeah.
said. It's amazing there. I love
That's
that
so cool
that
you've been
spot.
there. Amazing. Yeah, it is so
Oh,
special, and it's been so cold here this winter, and I just
Yeah.
can't wait to get back over there when it's changed.
yeah. Definitely need to wait a little bit. All of the little details that they put in all the
I know.
outhouses and
I
everything.
know.
So cool.
That's amazing. Did you get to spend a lot of the summer there, or were you on this side, or
When I was at Coastal Studies, we would stay
Yeah.
over there
Yeah.
in the field station, but when I worked
Yeah.
for Scott and Susan, we came back every day.
Oh my
Cool.
gosh, how
Sometimes
cool.
we camped over there,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Aw,
yeah.
they're such sweet
Oh,
people too. They're
I
just
know. I
treasures.
love them. I love
Susan
them.
is hilarious.
Oh my god, I know, she's so funny.
I
I
know.
love them both.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, that's so fun. I love knowing that beautiful
Yeah.
space is being inhabited
I
and, like,
know.
loved upon.
I know. We felt very lucky to be the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
caretakers, and it's brought.
Where did you grow up in Alaska?
Yeah, we grew up on the tip of the Alaskan Peninsula, so right at the end of the mainland where the Aleutian Islands start, so near False Pass, Alaska, and it's way out there. And then we started moving into Homer when we were in grade school to just go to school in the winters, and then, yeah, we kinda made it home. Our parents are here, and so our business is kind of settled here, and that's where we are now.
Must have been an amazing place to grow up, but also pretty out there
Yeah,
and remote.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Reflecting now on our mom having tiny kids out there, raising us on that homestead, and my dad fishing, and just us. What an outstanding, incredible endeavor that they took part in, and just have so
Yeah.
much respect for them raising their family out there. And we're so fortunate we got to participate in something like that. It's really, really lucky. And certain aspects are still like available to us in Homer of wild
Mm.
places, but we are not in any way living off the land as they were, and just homesteading and maintenance of properties and really living day to day with nature and everything the Aleutian Islands would throw at you.
Especially once you become a parent too, you start going back through your whole life
Yeah.
from your
Yeah.
parents' point of view, and you're like, "Wow, good job with all of that, and also thank you."
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we definitely are feeling those thank yous a lot recently. Just it's taken at least me this long to really feel like, oh my gosh, wow, we grew up in such a special, unique place. And even living in Alaska still, but like in a different part, people can't really conceptualize what it was like to grow up in a place like that. And it does feel pretty wild. And so sometimes even getting to spend time across the bay here at our little cabin, it feels like little aspects of that. Just getting back to the stillness and the just real connection with the place. And yeah,
Day to
it's really
day, just
special.
food and
Mhm.
place driving everything. It's
Mhm.
not additional work or needs or constantly being on the computer and everything there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just actually be present in
Yeah.
Mhm.
your space and
Yeah.
appreciate. What was it like when you were kids with your dad out fishing? Did you go out a lot, or were you more at home with your mom learning about a homestead?
Yeah, a good mix of the 2. When we were younger, before we were able to really help on the boat, we were both around the fishing and participating in ways we could. Like, when our dad came home from fishing trips, we'd be in the harbor with him helping. We would
Made up
have his
small
crew
jobs.
there and, yeah, they'd be baiting hooks or going to the nets and mending nets or just working on gear and stuff, and we'd be there just kind of around as kids. But then when we got older, I think Claire kinda started out before I did. We were, like, middle school, high school when we really started working on the boat in the summertime with our dad, and so we would actually be with him living on the boat most of the summer, but before that, we would stay with our mom at the homestead, and a lot of our days were really revolved around the workings of that place. It was a like, alternative energy off-grid spot, so we had a water wheel and dams, we would have to go check, we had chickens every day. It's
Greenhouse.
like the routine was checking the greenhouse, checking the chickens, making sure everything was running smoothly, and then in spare time, we would go out hiking and pick berries, or we would go out on the beach at low tide and go tide pool or
Mm.
go find food, and, so the days were just mostly spent outside, and then as we got older, a good mix of trying to do some homeschool and a lot of art projects, and sometimes, if the weather was good, we would be able to get across to the village that was the nearest people, basically. It was like a 20-minute boat ride across the ocean pass between the mainland and the Unimak Island. So we would get really excited to go
Check
over
the
there and
mail.
check the mail and, go to the store, which is tiny and sold only canned goods, and go to
But it was, like,
school if
something different in
yeah,
your
see some
day.
kids, which was always really fun. So we were kinda just, like, immersed in our family life, and then, it was always really exciting to go see people in the village and visit and get a little taste of that outside world, but there's a population of between 50 and 100 people at the most there, so still very out there.
You
Yeah.
knew everyone
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
definitely.
First and last name and
Yeah.
who they were related to, and
Yeah,
your
yeah.
days were really full.
Our days were really full. Yeah, we definitely kept busy just around our place. Yeah, it's such a cool way to grow up. I feel like our parents were so present with us, just teaching us the things that they knew as far as like, handy skills. Everything needed to be maintained. We had our house up on the hill and then like a workshop and big greenhouse and some other outbuildings. And we were always working on little like roofing projects or trying to repaint stuff and fixing stuff up with our mom and then just growing stuff in the garden, planting and yeah, just spending a lot of time watching the boats go by, the fishing boats and bears walking down the beach and the eagles. We had that eagle nest right down the beach, or like our eagle nest and the baby eagles every summer and just a lot of life just revolving around those animal characters, the place itself, and yeah, seasons for sure.
I'm sure there were hard parts about it, but it sounds very idyllic.
Yeah, I think as a kid, it was really idyllic. Like looking back, such an amazing thing to grow up just in the midst of having your parents' full attention and then also getting to help out. I think as a kid, that's such an important part of feeling like you're capable and valued. And so that was really cool. And
You can probably do anything now. I
I
was
don't know,
just
something.
talking more than most. I was just talking to my friend about this because my son, he's into the vacuum
Yeah,
obsessively,
amazing.
and he wants to help me push it around.
Yeah.
Which obviously makes it harder to vacuum.
Yeah.
I'll sometimes get in a rush. I just need to do this, but then I
Yeah.
remember he's interested in this, and to actually take the time to teach your kids these things, I think is really special.
Does like mean the world to them, even though you're like, oh my gosh, we're going backwards at a millionth speed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it might have taken you a little longer to mend the nets at
Yeah,
first, but then you knew how to do it, so
I need
yeah.
yeah, it is cool. It is wild thinking about having our kids now and bringing them into that world of fishing and being on the water and all of it. It is kind of crazy because it is a really dangerous, risky thing to be doing out there and just the trust that our parents put into just us being up for it. You do have to just let go a little bit. I'm sure, I mean, our mom's always been yelling at our dad for taking us, but it's all been fine. And I think it helps you just have the independence and the capability to learn.
'Cause when you're a kid, it's like it can go either way. You see what your parents are doing and you really wanna do it too,
Yeah.
or the opposite thing happens and I wanna do my own thing.
Yeah.
Were you both really into fishing immediately?
think it just there wasn't another option.
Yeah,
Like,
it
this is
was
what we're
just
doing.
that's what you do.
And it was just what our family did together. And there was never really another option that we weren't returning seasonally to the homestead or fishing, or I think just growing up there, that value of place was instilled in us so dramatically, and then just connection to that land and connection to fishing. And this is what we did with our family, was that there wasn't even a consideration or something that we wouldn't be spending that seasonal time doing.
Mhm.
And that morphed and changed over the years. Like when we were right out of college, young adults, our family participated in different fisheries and moved in different areas of the state. And that dictates what we're up to now and living in Homer and different things there. But yeah, as Emma said, we're already like bringing babies and kids on the boat, and it's amazing what they're already picking up. Or it's seems so natural to them that this is how we're going to spend parts of our summer. And you're like, whoa, lens back. This is pretty unique. But no, there's no difference, or they don't know anything right now. And I mean, just your knowledge of Scott and Susan's place, like, wow, what a place to spend your time growing up, and just so excited for our kids to have definitely not as an intense and all consuming lifestyle as we grew up in the Aleutians, but having little tastes of that and just fostering that independence and working with your family and
Mm.
Really hoping the Salmon Sisters aspect, even though it's more shoreside now with like seafood processing and our retail shops and that, just having kids involved every step of the way. And we've started to see it. I have like a 3.5-year-old where she understands what we do. And in her mind, it's all about cutting fish, which we're like, yes, 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 yes. So we've been working on that and how she is eager to be involved and just understand all the processes and just create another generation who can work with their family respectfully
Yeah.
and like, effectively.
Work with your family, with your hands, with the
Yeah.
environment.
Seasonally, just
Mhm.
See,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
And working on boats, that aspect, that's
Yeah.
also unique. There's so many different, skill sets that you need to have or develop from end to end,
Yeah.
especially the whole business, and then you throw in marketing and selling online and
Mhm.
your
Yeah.
clothing, so that's a huge undertaking.
Have man like learning the power of the partnership within our business and we've been doing this together for about a decade with Salmon Sisters and just how being mother of young children has created such a vacuum of the one thing time that is finite and
Yeah.
how do we utilize our skills to keep our business moving in the direction we want it to for these couple years where the majority of our time is around our families and nurturing little people. Yeah, it's tricky. Tricky, tricky.
It's a hard balance, and I'm always asking people to tell me how they do it.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Those stories are so valuable.
yeah, they're so valuable to learn and just check in and be like, "Wait, there could be another
Yeah.
way," or like, "Wait,
Yeah.
you're doing this too?" And I'd
Mhm.
say we're definitely I think a popular term right now coined laptop moms, like, "The laptop's around, it's on the counter," but we're also administering everything's happening in our home around us and are slowly piecing together some out-of-home care and, like, wonderful spots for our little people to be as they get older, but it's definitely been a "Oh, you have 2 little kids laying on you, and Emma, you somehow got your phone. That's how the
It's still in
newsletter's
reach.
happening," or
Yeah,
just
you're
the most
like,
wild, silly things.
Yeah,
"This
Yeah,
arm is asleep, but
I
this
know.
hand, I can post that."
yeah. I love
Because
that.
your business had already been mostly established at the point that you each had children, is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was, and it was an interesting turn where the year I had my first child, we also were able to come into ownership of this facility in Homer, this processing facility in retail, and a lot of our peers who had had kids before us were taking time off the water in the summer fishing, moving into running fishing operations on the land side and processing and selling fish and doing other things in those avenues, and we definitely understood that was a route to take, but it happened for us. It was like boom, boom, boom. We were already selling seafood, but then we had a nice uptick during COVID of getting folks frozen fish to their homes. And we had
Mm.
access to this facility. And we had never really participated in land life in Homer in the summer. And so that's been the last couple years of our life of building out these brick and mortar retail shops we really enjoy and having more seafood flowing through Homer into our customers and spending a lot less time on the boat. I mean, just little spurts of a couple weeks every summer, just trying to keep everybody safe and not touching too many dials. So that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you first started your business and you decided as a unit that you wanted to build this, what was the gap in the market that you were trying to fill, or what made you think you wanted to do something a little different?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, the immediate need we saw was apparel that our fellow generation of women who were working on boats in Alaska wanted to identify their pride in work in the water and what they were doing seasonally, both on the water and off the water. And admittedly, as you know, Homer, Alaska, it's sweatshirts, just all the passion, all of the design work there. And we had been accessing all the gear stores that had designs that just didn't exactly resonate with us, and a lot of our peers were in that exact same boat of raised on commercial fishing boats and were right at our age of creating their own small businesses and everything around the fishing world, and Emma can speak to the matching of our design and business.
We were like young teenage girls, and we were like, "We wanna wear something that speaks to what we're doing." We're doing the same work as these macho dudes on the boat
Yeah.
and going into gear stores and kind of wanting something to commemorate that experience and not finding it, and we'd go out when we got off the boat from halibut fishing in Dutch Harbor and going to, like, the gear store there, and they'd have and they still do, like, the
They're
Bering
legendary.
Sea,
They're
second
amazing.
to none,
Yeah.
and we were like, "Yes, that's
Yes,
us."
but
That's not exactly how we'd put it, and
Mhm.
so just being creative people and loving making art and designs that really resonated with us and the fish we were catching, the work we were doing, it was really easy and fun to just kind of experiment a little bit with that, and when we started making our first designs, we were screen printing them on T-shirts and hoodies and tote bags and just selling them to people in our community. I don't think we really expected it to take off. It was just something we're having fun with, and then, yeah, people just loved it. There's, like, so many people adjacent to the fishing community, like, people out there fishing themselves, wives of fishermen who feel really connected to this industry,
Mhm.
moms, people shoreside, people out on the water who are all really involved in commercial fishing and just really saw something in it they were proud of and resonated with them. So I think we just kept trying to make things that spoke to those people, like people who are proud of the work they do on the water in Alaska and are connected to the seafood industry here. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the target market. So you're like, I know
yep.
what I wanna wear. Even years ago when I started working in Alaska, most of the stuff that you would get small sizes of the male
Yeah.
Yeah,
stuff, and you're
for
like, "Okay,
sure.
this kinda fits."
Exactly. And then we were eventually approached by Extra Tough, who makes the brown boots that everyone in
Yes.
Alaska wears.
Iconic.
And that was,
Now they're
I feel like,
everywhere.
a moment in our journey where we thought, "Okay, well," like, they had never made women's boots before then, and we're really interested in, like, making something for women, which we were excited about because we were always wearing them growing up, and I think that was just a neat way that Salmon Sisters was able to create something especially for the women in our community who are, like,
Mm.
doing the work, doing the hard stuff too, and, yeah, just to have something made for you and that fits you and is built for exactly what you're doing out on the boat and hauling in nets and baiting hooks and all those things. It's just really affirming, just really excited that we've been able to provide some of those little tiny things to our
Yeah.
community of women along the way and paved the way a little bit there. So,
And we just
Yeah.
started in the perfect time of like, "Oh, hello, social media.
mhm,
Hello, young
Mhm.
college graduates can figure out their own e-commerce." None of
mhm,
it was rocket science, and we
Mhm.
were able to, just use our connections within the state to learn how to do different design work or just with different local manufacturers or create things that yeah, exactly. We are the target audience. What would we want as mid-20s moving into what is our role in Alaska? Where do we work? How do we work seasonally? Like how do we piece it all together? And now raising young families and we saw interest in both shelf stable and frozen fish moving into COVID and we were very lucky to have those relationships with our larger processors to be able to start our own little monthly subscription boxes or different things around that time and be able to tell the story of Salmon Sisters on the water, Alaska seafood. And then Emma was able to create some beautiful cookbooks to help people with how to prepare and use that fish. And that has been a really, really gratifying chapter that we can definitely contribute the momentum and the success to from the early design work and relation to our commercial fishing fleet on the water and just trust there that was built for our business and brand. Yeah.
Really has come full circle.
We are very thankful, like, we're a decade in, and we have a lot of tiny, small business knowledge that we've piled up and are slowly moving into more seafood processing and that entire vertically integrated chain from boat to having wonderful wild Alaska seafood on people's plates, and it's been a long time coming, but slowly circling and figuring it out one tiny step at a time and growing our business in ways that are of interest and engaging to us right now. Yeah.
And you're able to help provide wild Alaskan seafood to people that might otherwise not really have access to it. What has the reception been like for that and
Yeah.
almost like raising awareness
Yeah.
of what it takes to actually catch and clean and process and ship
Yeah.
this very special product?
Yeah, we've taken our responsibility very seriously as one of the many tiny stewards of this industry. How can we use Salmon Sisters as a avenue to just help rise all education, all awareness around Alaska seafood for consumers, and especially the Salmon Sisters customers. It's very specific, very unique. They are driven by the traceability of our product, supporting a women-owned business, helping with like the Homer connection, the Alaska connection. Like majority of our customers have been to Alaska. They're foodie folks. They're very interested in the health benefits and they're very interested in supporting Salmon Sisters specifically. So helping them like put seafood on their table and not waste any, help share them with their friends and their family and their children and like in different product forms as frozen and very trendy tinned fish, smoked fish, etc. has been our mission with the books as the biggest guide, just helping like really drive home the stories of like coastal communities and like the values and stewardship and responsibility managed fisheries and just like the whole matrix of it. It's been an undertaking, but it's also like our life's work, our life's passion.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's kind of like a endless pursuit in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I think the people coming to Salmon Sisters already have that appreciation for the
Mhm.
place. Yeah, maybe it's Alaska, maybe it's the seafood aspect, but it's really eye-opening to get a glimpse of the greater maybe misunderstanding of seafood outside of Alaska. We're in a bubble here where we're like, there are wild salmon swimming and we can go catch them. And
Mm,
it's this place where there's abundance still. And yeah, it's super special and something that we do not take for granted, but it's the kind of the norm here. And just being able to share stories of that and the hard work that goes into catching those fish and
mhm.
just growing up with that and knowing exactly what people like, if you're eating salmon from Alaska, like, we probably know who caught it or we got it or,
Mhm.
just I think unpacking that a little bit, people are really surprised and impressed what the Alaska seafood industry is. It's a lot of small businesses, a lot of we're not unique in that, like, we're just another fishing family. There's so many around us
Yeah.
living here and being able to share those stories of our neighbors and friends, and it's so cool. That's one of the coolest parts about our business is being a tiny platform for that kind of storytelling and sharing all of the good things about the seafood coming out of Alaska and why you should feel good about eating it and why eating wild Alaska seafood is an awesome choice for your health and for the planet and just supporting your local fishermen.
Just what you were saying, Emma, reminded me of for many of us that don't live in Alaska full time, for
Mhm.
our grocery shopping the majority of the year. I live in
Yeah.
upstate New York. So in
Yeah.
the
Me
summer,
too.
we do have access to amazing farm stands and
Yeah.
summer, fall, but most of the year we don't. So we do most of our food shopping at the grocery store. And it's very anonymous of a process, and you don't really attribute a person to pretty much anything you're at the grocery store. And it
Yeah.
removes that whole thought process about, "Oh, what did this take to get this thing on
Yeah.
my plate?"
Yeah.
So you're bringing that to the forefront with your food.
Yeah, for sure, and just the care that goes into it. I mean, we find it similar, like, Ala Alaskans, as you know, are so incredible about their preservation of food for the winter, for pantry, for etcetera, like but there is a lot of mindless shopping that does go on at the grocery store and still having that, like, piece of protein, that Alaska seafood that for us as Alaskans too, that remind you of the seasonality and the work that went in and the place, and just everything is very grounding, and being able to cook that with our families and tell the story of it has been huge from, like, a very micro level of this beautiful fish was caught in Cook Inlet right outside our Salmon Sisters place and delivered by this amazing fisherwoman, Penelope, and just having the traceability of that entire product is very rewarding to think through as you're making dinner on a Wednesday night.
Yes, it is.
You're right, like, that is such an Alaskan value of
Yeah.
we are lucky here, like, we hunt and fish and we have, like, pretty amazing growing season here, so
Yeah.
just having the ability to, catch or harvest our own food and then subside off the land a little bit more than a lot of people
Mhm.
are, so just kind of bringing that mentality into our business and with our fish and being able to share that with people, I know that is unique, but it's just like how people live here. So normal
Yeah.
to us, but it's true. I think feels good to be able to know a little bit about where your food's coming from and makes it all the more enjoyable. And I know when someone here will trade us for fish for moose
A
or say something
moose,
like
yeah.
that, I love that feeling of just imagining the story that took that meal to get to your plate and then just honoring it with you, how you're cooking it. And
Not
um,
wasting any of it.
yeah, it's just super special. So as much as we can do that, we like to be able to try to foster those ideas of connection to your food and seafood. So yeah, and the story behind it is just like so amazing that it's hard not to share it. So yeah.
And through their lifelong experience living off of the land and knowing all the care and attention and skills that it takes to be able to subsist off the land, more or less, I'm sure that has impacted your views of stewardship and connection to place. So I'd love to hear more about what it's like for you to think about stewardship and what kind of work you do based on your values and experience.
Yeah, it's been a constant reminder of, like, we are incredibly fortunate that we get this tiny moment glimpse in time, or Salmon Sisters exists in this Alaska fisheries world where we have these plentiful returning, well-managed stocks of salmon returning to our river systems, and it is no accident. They have been
Mhm.
preserved. We are working, like, everyone collectively, and just with the tenacity is working towards keeping those ecosystems intact and able for those salmon to return where they need to and have a home, and for babies to start the next cycle. And it's a constant reminder of all of the incredible work that has been done before us and how we can use our tiny, tiny business to, like, continue to share those stewardship messages and foster that and just educate folks who are visiting the state and locals alike with what they can do to continue this advocacy work. And currently, the Salmon Sisters, like, support system, we've decided to go incredibly local to, like, our Homer watersheds, and we've been
Mhm.
working with the nonprofit, the Ketchimek Heritage Land Trust, where they have been putting different properties into their trust function where they will not be disrupted and salmon can live. It's like baby salmon live here. Salmon can live here too with people. And we've been able to go with our team to different properties and learn about what fish are actually upland and in the river systems and what stages they're at and how to protect them once they, like, leave the ocean. So a huge education piece for Emma and I. And I mean, it's like we create design work that's donates to, like, these nonprofits and their work, and just trying to, like, use our spaces and online resources as, like, just a touch point for education to hopefully inspire others in their small communities. But again, like, just nudging the messaging, nudging the reminders at all time through Salmon Sisters communication of the need and increased constant pressure, anything that can happen to just not allow these ecosystems to be ruined and not be able to
Mhm.
sustain future generations of fish that we would be so lucky to participate with in the
Mhm.
years to come and generations to come.
Yeah, and I think we are commercial fishermen. That's like what we grew up doing and just trying to connect the dots. Like, I think commercial fishermen in general, like, have a great knowing that we are dependent on this resource, right? And if we're going to continue to depend on it and live this lifestyle and call this our job and profession and identity, there's a lot of work that we need to do to help protect that. And so I think through Salmon Sisters, that's our angle as far as we can all appreciate living near salmon and having them here and like living in a place where they're swimming up the rivers and in the ocean. But just as people who do depend on those resources, how can we be spokespeople and stewards of the next generation of salmon for the next generation of fishermen or the next generation of people who live in Alaska? So a lot of our side projects also have
Yeah.
been taking on new design work or outside partnership projects that can kind of help with those. Some
Mhm.
of that has happened in Bristol Bay with the Pebble Mine or, just, yeah, as Claire said, locally in our neighboring habitats and watersheds, but, yeah, it's really important to us just because we wanna live in a place where our kids will know salmon, and we know
Mhm.
that it's different elsewhere, so just really taking that head on has been a really important part of our business too. And whenever we can find ways to support the work other people are doing in our community, as Claire said, we've partnered with different people along the way to do that work.
I've always found that very inspiring and grounding about Alaskan values in general is the closer people are
Mhm.
to the land and living off the land or having a direct connection with a resource, the more
Mhm.
likely you are to protect it. It just makes sense. And I think it's something that a lot of us who don't live and breathe that every day, in theory, we would want to have that, but people get disconnected and it's less front of mind
Right.
for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we even feel that a little bit in our little kid world, day-to-day Homer. All our needs are met. We're very
Mhm.
fortunate, but thinking about everything, even if a fraction of it is removed, it is just amplified so quickly of
Mhm.
just advocacy for the place and systems and everything there. And yeah, it's it's a hard thing to continue to get a larger audience motivated around or remembering the importance if you lose that just hands-on experience and
Yeah.
really experiential moments of being on the water or seeing salmon go up a river and you do anything to protect it right there and then. Yeah.
What's a common misconception that you've heard that people have around this industry?
Yeah. I think we're almost on the other side of it, but just reminding, as Emma did earlier, of commercial fishermen are your number one stewards and responsible fisheries management advocates because their livelihoods and their passion and everything relies upon it. And just acknowledging science based management and like sustainable management is foremost in everyone's mind. And like, yeah, technology's maybe catching up, but the fishermen are like scientists, they know everything. They know everything that's happening on the water. They're such unique blends of skills and man, just such characters that I wish they could be better supported. And the average consumer knows it's a small American business that is risking a lot to bring them something that they care so much about and want that connection as well.
Speaking of being close to the land, quick intermission to share something I'm really excited about. This October, I'm teaming up with KMAC Guides to host a 5-day backpacking trip for women in Bears Ears National Monument in Utah. We'll spend our days hiking through stunning sandstone canyons, exploring ancient cliffside dwellings, and learning how to be respectful of visitors to one of the most sacred landscapes in the country. There'll be optional yoga, community circles, and plenty of space for solitude and reflection. This trip is designed for all experience levels. First time backpackers are welcome. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, don't wait to sign up. The link is in the show notes, and you can learn more by reaching out to me at Women in Wild Places. Okay, back to Claire and Emma.
Mhm. Yeah, I think so, and also just in terms of salmon coming out of Alaska, a lot of people don't know this or haven't, like, quite made the connection that all salmon coming out of Alaska is wild. We don't have
Yeah.
farm fish here,
Yeah.
and just the fact that as fishermen, we don't fish unless enough salmon have swum upstream to go spawn, and I think there's been a lot of talk of overfishing, which is a
I don't
concept
know how to
that's
unpack that.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Mhm.
kind of hard
Yeah.
to wrap our heads around here because it's just not an option as
There are
salmon
rules
fishermen.
preventing you from
Yeah,
doing
exactly,
that.
like, we have a lot of guardrails in place for good reason, like, we're so glad that they're there because it's not your responsibility to make that hard choice as a fisherman.
The
Um
managers do evolve.
yeah, managers
Mhm.
there to tell you like, "Okay, like, we're waiting, we're not fishing today, we're not fishing for a week because we need to see this many salmon escape," they call it escapement, but, swim upstream before, like, we can start harvesting what we're allowed to catch, and so, yeah, just I think as a consumer, if you're choosing wild Alaskan salmon, you're choosing fish. You should feel really good about eating. It's not something that, has been overfished or yeah, there's always, like, a calibration there, and fishermen, we follow those guidelines, and yeah, there's just a lot that goes into that the harvest that is, um, responsible, and everyone's doing a lot of work to make sure that the salmon are doing well here, so we're really appreciative of that as fishermen and also just yeah, people should feel good.
I think it was a couple years ago. I was in Cordova and there were some scientists explaining the research and the concepts that they use to put some of these parameters in place, and I could not repeat any of it
I
off
know.
the cuff because it's so
Complicated.
complex
Yeah.
and complicated, but it's very thought out and researched and in depth, and I
Yeah.
was amazed at how they could take all of these different moving pieces and apply functional reality to it. Like, to know that is one thing, and then to be like, "Okay, this means that you can go out this many times and catch this much fish." I just thought that was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, proud to be part of a industry that's putting that forward and also just
Continuing to learn and
yeah,
change
exactly.
as we
Mm.
can with
Yeah.
better tools and resources. Yeah.
Mhm. Would you say the technology and applications and things that you use to do your job have changed significantly since you were kids?
I wish I could speak to that with more intelligence and clarity. Yes, but I wish I could give better examples, but I think just going back to that theme of fishermen as scientists and being like citizen scientists on their vessels and how much data they can collect alone is a
Mhm.
really revolutionary thing with just Starlink. Just having
Mm.
constant access on the water to knowing everything from up-to-date weather to regulations to be able to share anything that's happening on the vessel.
But there still are people upriver counting one
Yeah.
by one the salmon
My god,
swimming up, so
really?
I don't know how much has changed.
Yeah, yeah,
People are
that's
trying
true.
hard.
That's like some recent, college
Yeah, yeah,
grad
it's a
that is, like, so
microbiology degree.
excited.
Yeah.
Totally.
I
Yeah.
know. So
With the
excited to
little
see the
counter.
salmon.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. It all counts. Looking ahead 20, 30 years from now, what do you hope that your work has changed for wild fisheries and women in the industry and the next generation?
I just hope it serves as an example for others. Like, here's a case study of what, like, they tried and they continue to evolve and continue to learn and change with the current state of the world and, like, what we have access to and where our passions lie and just continue to be an advocate for wild seafood for decades that coming out of Alaska, no matter if we're on the water fishing for them ourselves at that stage of life or learning how to smoke and can them with kids on the beach type situation. So yeah, I think anything Salmon Sisters can do is help people as an example of like you can do this too with the
Mhm.
tools that are available today and small business and family business and the resources that if guarded and taken care of, will be available for future generations.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
so, and I think providing inspiration for those people who do, have the urge to maybe live a little bit closer to the cycle of the seasons or to their food source or just to maybe a different kind of work. I know those stories, for me at least, have always been really impactful. Understanding sometimes it does take a leap if you don't grow up with it. Like if you were to come and try commercial fishing in Alaska, if you weren't just born into it, you'd have to jump off into a new world. But to kind of give people a little bit of a glimpse into that and say, "Hey, it's possible, and, like, here's why it might be rewarding for you, and look at all these amazing women doing it." So, I think inspiring people to live maybe a bit differently, and I think just appreciating where at least for us, it's such a huge appreciation and celebration of the place where we get to live and
And a viable way to still work with your hands
mhm.
technically and
Mm.
produce something like a food
Yeah.
product and work outside
Mhm.
and just
Yeah.
have access to a seasonal rhythm and different types of work as our world changes so quickly. It seems pretty oddly unique and wonderful that opportunity will
Mhm.
exist for our kids and their kids.
Yeah. It's hearing ourselves talking, I'm like, "Wow, we're so
It's so oh,
old-timey."
we're
We're so
so
old-timey.
tiny.
And it's also just, like, a good way to live in our estimation.
Yeah.
Old-timey, like, AKA just
Yeah,
living,
we're not
like,
modern
on the
homestead.
earth.
We just live in day to day in Homer, but it
Yeah.
does seem pretty like,
But
"Whoa."
still, even still, though, it is unique compared to the average American lifestyle, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, the place definitely dictates that, and we're very fortunate that we get to call this place home.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I will also make a plug that me, as someone that did not grow up in Alaska, found great work and welcoming communities very easily as a young woman
Yeah.
and quickly found mentors and
Yeah.
community. And I, I don't think that was unique to me. And that's just something that I like to talk about with the
Totally.
younger generation. Go do this. You will find your group, you'll find
Yeah.
great experience.
Yeah.
Totally.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, a once in a lifetime experience exists here for anyone who
Mhm.
wants to come
Mhm.
and participate, and there's a lot of really unique and just what incredible character mentors around, just ready to
Yes.
share their knowledge. Just
Yes.
everything. It's like, oh, what a special thing, and yeah, it's a really
Yeah.
neat place to be.
Okay, I have some rapid fire
Yeah.
questions for you.
Okay.
Okay.
You just got off the boat from a day of fishing. You have some fresh fish. What are you making that night?
Oh, man. Admittedly, we've been on a poke kick. We've got
Mm.
a couple good recipes in the cookbooks, and we've been to some friend's house recently who just made some amazing variations that you're like, "Whoa, a different way to eat, like, wild Alaska salmon. This is so good." And, oh my gosh, I think barbecue or fire is the other, and the fresh
Mhm.
Mm.
way your brain just automatically goes to, my gosh, seasonal and summer and being on the beach and
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Mm.
would just say, we're off the boat, so glad to be on land. Go start a fire on the beach and cook it. Doesn't matter. Yeah,
Yeah.
kick your boots off. It's
Yeah.
gonna be delicious.
Favorite Alaskan berry?
Oh
Mm.
my gosh. I think just salmonberry because 'cause they're so novel, and as a kid, you're
Mm.
like, "Big berry,
They're so
colorful,
big.
big."
They're so juicy.
Yeah,
Yeah, we grew up with a lot of
yeah,
salmon berries, so those are
yeah.
yeah,
That's berries.
that's
Yeah.
berries.
There was this one patch I remember on one of the hikes that we would do over and over with people, and there was such a good patch, and there was a section of it where I would show people to pick, and then I kind of would keep this spot in the back for myself. Okay, favorite place to get a beer in Homer?
Man.
We have some good options. The Grace Ridge Brewery is a
Yeah,
great one. It's fun to sit outside and, yeah,
yeah.
just visit with people.
And then Homer Brewing Company. You're just like, "Oh, you're gonna see these local characters. It's worth a drive by." It's amazing, yeah. Yeah, those 2, it's like a big welcome hug home.
Oh, so nice. What about coffee?
Man, coffee.
Well,
Yeah,
like, our go-to
yeah,
forever has always been right above the harbor. When you get off the boat, there's a little
yeah.
place called Cold Town, and
Mm.
it's the go-to. That's where we wander up and grab a good cup, and it's full of fishermen. There's nowhere to sit. You just grab a cup and go back to your boat projects.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Our days are dictated, like, how do you get to Coal Town? How are we gonna get
How do I sneak
even with kids
away?
now, we're like, "So, how are we gonna design this day to somehow get there?" So
Mhm.
that is the secret spot.
That's how we are with the local coffee shop.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'm always doing the math of
I
work
know.
time and
Yep,
Yes,
naps, and I
no,
am gonna get
yeah.
I'm
there.
getting there today.
Gonna make the
No.
day, so how do we get there?
Okay, you're not fishing, it's a day off from work, and you're going across the bay for an activity. What are you doing?
Ooh, probably going over to I feel like Scott and Susan used to call it Songbird Beach, but there's
Mm.
a beach right across from our cabin, and it's so peaceful to sit there, maybe take a swim, maybe go get some
Mm.
oysters off the dock in the bay,
Mm.
and find some blueberries probably.
I'd say for my stage of life with the kids, just getting in that skiff is enough. So just getting in the harbor and in doing something, that's pretty much the boxes checked. So I can't say any
Mhm.
epic activities are happening, but as Emma said, those beaches right across the bay, just access to them and pulling up and having a snack is good and enough right now.
What more do you need?
Yeah.
What are you working on currently, and how can people stay in the know with Salmon Sisters, see what
Yeah.
you're up to?
Yeah, we have been working on some children's books, which has been a really fun new kind of
Fun.
project. Yeah, they're very different than the cookbook production, a little bit of a, um, different speed, but it's been really fun. They're going to be 2 coming out in the fall, and they're fun Alaskan first word board books, and so they're for a very young
Fun.
audience. So currently illustrating those and getting those finished up, and then we'll keep people posted on those on our website and on our social media. And let's see, what else are we excited about?
Just working on fish for the
Yeah.
summer. Like, it's such a seasonal processing
Mhm.
with salmon coming, and we get to open our shops for the summer to visitors coming to Homer. And so right now, oh my gosh, it's been so chilly in Homer the last few days. It's hard to wrap our heads
Oh.
around constant prep, but
Mm.
getting all our ducks in a row for getting people fish next fall once it's all processed and ready to go. But yeah, as Emma said, like, Emma writes our newsletter, and we have an amazing tiny team that we work on our website together, and it's just us doing the things at odd hours. And yeah.
Yeah.
Doing
But
it.
yeah, we're excited for the summer
Yeah.
to have our shops open,
Yeah.
and if anyone's headed to Homer, they can
Yeah.
come visit.
Right.
We have 2 shops here and a coffee shop, so
Yeah.
we're around, and there's always something fun going on here. Yeah, come say hi or,
Awesome.
yeah, find us through our website, and our newsletter is a good place to stay tuned,
Yeah.
so
I'll link everything in the show notes too.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
maybe
very
I'll see you guys this summer because
Yeah.
I'll be there. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
My fiance and I are actually getting married on Denali in June.
So
nice.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So beforehand, I'm bringing my parents
awesome.
to Homer because I just want them to
Yeah.
experience it. So we'll be there for a bit.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
definitely let us know when you're in
Yeah.
town, it'd be fun
Yeah.
to meet.
Yeah. We'll be like,
Yes.
we're always in the back trying to keep a kid quiet.
Are you
Give us a
you're
high
bringing
five.
your kid
Yeah.
though, so we can
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
He will not be quiet. I can assure you that.
quiet.
That's really exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Wow.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm excited. My partner is climbing first.
incredible.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to leave the baby
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
that amount of time,
Yeah.
but you would
Yeah.
do it.
Wow.
And I'll
That's
meet
so
you
great.
at the bottom.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's really
Pass the
cool.
Uh,
baby off and then you're on your way.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, I love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, man, thank you for giving us opportunity for Emma and I to
Yes.
get together too and make the
Yeah.
time to talk
Yes.
about our business because it's just happening day to day, and it's nice to take a moment to reflect on what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you both. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. Claire and Emma said something towards the end of our conversation that's really stuck with me since. That as our world changes fast, there's something oddly unique and wonderful about working with your hands, producing food, and living with the rhythm of the seasons. That it will still be available for our kids and our kids' kids. I think that's both hopeful and a call to action about what we can do to protect the world around us. If you want to support the Salmon Sisters, whether that's ordering wild Alaskan seafood, following their work, or just sharing this episode with a friend, I'll link everything in the show notes. And if you're ever passing through Homer, Alaska, go find them. Their shops are open in the summer, and according to Claire, they're usually in the back trying to keep a kid quiet. It would also mean the world to us if you left a rating or review, as it helps other people find the show. As always, thanks for listening and see you out there.